Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm here at SMTAi in Chicago, and I'm joined by MaryBeth Allen from KIC. MaryBeth, always a pleasure to see you.
My pleasure, thank you.
I always like talking to you because you spend a lot of time out with customers, kind of gauging what's going on in the market. What have you been hearing from people lately? What's vexing them in the world of thermal profiles?
First of all, I think I've visited several customers in the course of the last 6 to 8 months that have qualified for the ISO AS9100. And with that standard comes similar to a regular ISO standard where you're deciding on what you're going to do and then you do it. This one seems to have a lot more interest in repeatability and testing and assuring that the factory has the equipment, that the equipment is working properly, and that there's continuous testing done. And so from a profiling perspective, they've been asked to do more profiling. And the information that they like to get out of the profile is very specific, very component specific. There's very little for drift from profile to profile each time they do that test. And so then to take that information and analyze it, that's something that we're being asked for more and more.
Okay. And are you able to provide a solution that hits that solution in terms of helping them get that ISO standard?
It's not necessarily to qualify for the ISO standard, but it's something that they will use in order to sustain their qualification. So it's basically a rule. I have to do this so often, and so they'll use the tool to do that. And with our software, one of the advantages is that they're looking at certain components. So not only do I need to know the difference between the profile last month and this month, or last week and this week, I need to be able to analyze that quickly. And our process window index helps them to do that and immediately tell them if it's the same. And then the next step would be to look at some of the more critical components, and that's where I'm seeing more and more customers. Obviously, we've talked for a long time about the QFN and the voiding problem, but now there's smaller parts as well as very large, densely populated boards, and so we've addressed that with our software, where you may have a particular component where you have a process window, but you really don't want to be in the center. You want to be maybe a little bit hotter, and so we have a software additive that now you can say, okay, the center of my process window is not my target, right? It's a little bit higher, and so that's my goal. I don't want to see a higher process window index. I want to see that to be my perfection. So we've added that. That really has been well received by customers.
Yeah, that's what you call the sweet spot.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And people are responding well to that.
Very well, very well. Yeah. I thought it would be more quickly accepted in Europe, and yet almost all the customers I've spoken with have said, oh my gosh, someone just said to me, I wish I had that last week. I spent a day trying to get the cross-section of my board in spec. This would certainly have helped.
Yeah, that would drive them crazy. And we're constantly talking about smart factory, using that data to drive improvement in process. That's becoming more and more important to your customers, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are releasing our first, or let's say our next step of Smart Factory. We're really excited about it. And what's interesting is usually the burden of starting a Smart Factory is very, very expensive, very, a lot of weight on my shoulders. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is give a customer a place to start. If right now they're not looking at process control in their oven, they can get that capability and a profiler and our new database software and have it all together. So it's a nice place for you to start. You're starting to work with the IT department. You can work out all the bugs. It's inexpensive. And now you can decide what's the next step in my factory that I'm going to move into, bringing it all together. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, the idea of this starter kit that not just gives you something that has real ROI to it itself, but takes you through that whole experience of bringing all the stakeholders in and getting them together.
Exactly, yes, because it's multiple levels and multiple departments within a factory that have to get involved. Yeah. And so if you could limit that and learn from it quickly, then the rest of the rollout becomes that much easier because you've already gone through the trials and tribulations, Yeah,
fantastic. Well, MaryBeth, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for taking part in the panels this week, and look forward to seeing you at the next show.
Thank you.
Thank you.